Everybody loves hearing a good success story, but what about our failures?
In today's video, Ryan and I talk about some of our biggest mistakes, what we've learned, and how you can avoid them in the future.
If you like our content, please like and subscribe. Now let's dive in. So we talk about success stories all the time. You hear about success stories all the time, and they're wonderful. They're really, really great. But if we really think about it, where do we learn and where do we grow? A lot of times we learn and grow from our failures. And that's what we want to talk about today, is we want to be a little bit vulnerable today and talk about our biggest failures when both Megan and I were affiliate managers and how we overcame them and what lessons we learned from them. So hopping right into it, years ago, this is probably about 7 years ago, I was an affiliate manager. I was a little bit younger then. And the company I was with, we were a very established company. We had a very good brand in the industry, but revenues were going down and down and down, most because we were a small company with a small group of people. So we didn't have the bandwidth to really get new products, new bandwidth that way. So we had very little to work with. So we came up with an idea to say, let's do a launch. Let's do a really big launch, the biggest one we've ever done as a company in our history. We put months and months of effort into it. We put hours upon hours. I don't even know how many sleepless hours I put into it. The tech team, the writer, because we only had one copywriter, and our copywriter was kind of also our tech guy. We definitely were a small crew, and we had the owner of the company as well. We were recording stuff. We pretty much took our existing product, our existing offer, and we reskinned it in a way that seemed exciting. And we knew that we had to do really, really well on it. Why? Because we were running out of money as a company. And if this went bust, there's a good possibility, a very high possibility, that the company would no longer exist. So not were we only fighting for the successful launch, we were excited, really fighting for the company and our jobs. Because at the time we were just employees. It's not like we owned the company or had stake in it, but we're fighting for our jobs. And everyone put their blood, sweat, and tears in this. Months and months of work and planning. As the affiliate manager, I got pretty much at the time every big affiliate on board to send. And the night before we opened up the launch, we were all nervous. We flew, we're all staying in the same house just in case anything went wrong. We had computers, like we're all sleeping there, and we're all excited. Like we could not sleep that night. We were so excited. Like, this is it. Turn the ship around. We're going to do great. The next morning, clicks started coming in. A lot of clicks. We were getting smiles on our face. And then we noticed that there are no sales. Like, I'm talking thousands of clicks. Like early in the morning, there's, I want to say 6,000, 7,000 clicks in the morning. And this is just the first few hours. And we noticed there are no sales. So instantly we're like, tech issue. Let's dive in. We at least know what affiliates are sending, so we can, it might be hard on the back end, but there got to be sales there. So we looked, there's no sales, nothing's tracking, nothing's working. And we were all hands on deck. We were all tech people instantly. And we realized that it's just not converting. We're now up to like 10, 15, 20,000 clicks, and it is not converting. I think out of all those clicks, we may have gotten like 3 sales. It was bad. And so we waited a few hours, see, was it a tech thing? And ultimately we had to call every affiliate based off whether it's me or the person who owned the company. We got them on the phone. Like we were calling them, texting them, emailing them, telling them what to do. And we had to make the hard decision to abort the launch. We had to hit the abort button. We canceled it because that was the right thing to do our affiliates. We didn't want them to keep sending traffic when we knew they were not going to get any revenue from that. So we made the hard decision, months of preparation, to stop the launch right in its tracks. We were trying to figure out what went wrong. We were trying to mend relationships. It got bad that we were in tears. We were legit in tears because we didn't know if we had a job anymore. And the owner of the company was in tears, didn't know if they could provide for their family anymore, didn't know if any of us could provide for a family. Like we didn't know if we had income. And leading up to that, we all even took voluntary pay cuts the few months into it because we were running out of money. We had so much vested in this. The rest of that day was panic. But the next morning, we all got together in that same living room and we had a really State of the Union, come to Jesus type moment. And we said, let's not focus on what went wrong. Let's focus on what we can do to survive. And we had a big brainstorming session. We took out a whiteboard and we said, hey, how can we create revenue with what we have? And not only did we come up with some of the best ideas, because of that day and us pulling together, we created new products, new offers, new categories. And within 3 months, not only did we hit new revenue heights, it was like a whole new company, a whole new energy. And we did it out of necessity. We thought, what do we have existing that we can tweak or turn to make something completely new to help people, help our affiliates, pay a high commission, and really bounce back from this? And how can we help the affiliates? So we reached out to all the affiliates. We apologized personally to them on the phone. I wish we could have given them money, but we had none to give. We were 100% honest with them. They're great. They all support us. I think we had 99% support on our next launch and with our new product. And we just became really scrappy and we became very creative on what we could do and what we could offer. Big takeaways, the lessons. If you have a failure, whether it's a launch or maybe it's something personal, is yes, we want to analyze what went wrong, 100%. We also want to take care of the people that supported us during that time. We want to send thank yous to them. But we also want to say, all right, how much time can we lay down crying, licking our wounds versus when do we have to stand up, realize what situation we're in, and then figure out the best path forward. And luckily we had a good team and we did that. We literally took the crazy idea and made it a reality. And we would have never had that crazy idea if we had never been through that failure. Because of that one moment, I'm still almost best friends with that little group of people. We still talk all the time. We have a text chain together and we always check on each other. And because of that, they're all different companies now. And we will always be with each other. We'll always support each other. There's times I have a question and they're there to answer it instantly because we've been to war together. So if you have a failure, don't be scared to acknowledge the failure, but then move on.
So now I'm going to dive into one of my biggest failures as an affiliate manager. This was during the second half of 2019, and the business I was with at the time was launching a new back-end financial newsletter for a technology guru. The initial launch went well, grossed around $5.2 million. Not my best, but not my worst. I was responsible for all of the sister company partnerships, which resulted in around 1.2 million, and cold traffic affiliates contributed to about 250,000. Because the launch was relatively successful, we decided to make it evergreen and plan to relaunch it 3 months later to cold traffic affiliates. My boss and I were racking our brain for ways in which to attract affiliates. We knew we had to get the attention of a lot of the big whales because it's their way or the highway. So we sat down, brainstormed, and after going back and forth several times with a couple of ideas, we knew we had it. It's something that no affiliate would ever buy for themselves, and a prize in which even the smallest affiliate would be motivated to take part. We decided, drumroll please, to offer our top 5 affiliates that made the most net sales a free cruise around Antarctica. As a world traveler myself, I thought this was fantastic. I mean, who wouldn't want to go on this once in a lifetime adventure? The trip itself came out to around $25,000 a person, meaning we were pumping at a minimum $125,000 in prizes into this contest. So the pressure was on. But I wasn't too worried, to be honest with you. We were offering a really good front-end CPA and a 70% rev share commission on the back end. The product itself was proven to convert, which meant all I had to do was operationally set everything up successfully and we should be good to go. I spent the next several weeks tweaking the sales funnel, building things in our affiliate platform, setting up mailing commitments, stuff like that. I even worked with our centralized tech team to ensure real-time communication and commission data would be available to our affiliates, which is super important. Everything was set, and when the launch came and went, we only grossed $175,000. At the time, I had felt like a total failure. We ended up breaking even on those commissions to affiliates, but the prize money put us in the hole. All I could think about was, how are we going to pay for those 5 free trips to Antarctica? Well, we eventually did, thankfully, because those buyers ended up buying more products once they got into our file. So that saved my butt. But looking back, I have 3 major takeaways I want to share with you all. Takeaway number 1, giving away an experience is logistical a nightmare and will take you away from your core focus. Going back to the age-old question, do you give away experiences or do you give away money? The answer will always be money. If an affiliate wants to buy an experience with that money, more power to them. I spent countless hours figuring out how we would give away this free trip. How would this affect the business's taxes? What if that person wanted to bring a +1? How do we lock down the dates if we don't have that person's contact information, their passport number, their schedule? What if we have to change the dates because they can't make it? Looking back, this soaked up a lot of my time and again, took me away from my core focus, which was wrangling affiliates and solidifying mailing dates from them. I could have made it a lot easier on myself and the business if we had just offered money instead. Lesson number 2, because it's a prize you want, it doesn't mean that everyone else wants it. Each of the affiliates that won was grateful for the prize, but every single one of them asked if they could get cash from the trip instead. One affiliate said, "Megan, I live in Canada. Why would I want to go to Antarctica? Send me to the Bahamas instead." So, going back to lesson number 1, always offer money instead of experiences. Lesson number 3, always consider the time of year. And this sounds like a no-brainer, but a lot of times you have business owners who put a lot of pressure on you to make revenue goals for the year. I felt pressured, so we squeezed in the launch at the end of November. This was right around the time that list owners and affiliates set their calendars for the rest of the year, start to disappear to spend extra time with their friends and family. In hindsight, I should have pushed back more. I could almost guarantee that we would have made more money in January after everyone was back in the office. Which would you rather prefer, $175,000 now or $1 million later? In the end, even though the relaunch bombed, like I mentioned, affiliates were happy because they got paid, got their prize money, and the ongoing revenue we received from those buyers ended up making business money in the long run. So I was off the hook. But it taught me powerful lessons in motivation, maximizing my efficiency, and doing what's best for the business. So I hope you can take away a couple of tips from my failure so you can avoid those in the future. And if you like the content we're putting out, please like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks.